Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Last night here in Barcelona Mobile World Congress, we launched the HTC One line of phones. Very excited about it. The One X is the top device in the lineup. The one thing that I should say, first of all, that with the HTC One line, we're really trying to sort of unify our flagship devices under one brand. So the three devices are the One X, the One S, and the One V. All of them are great for different levels of what you're looking for in your phone and different price points that you might want to spend. This particular device is essentially the highest end, top of everything that you would want. You can see the first thing here that you'll notice is the beautiful screen. It's a 4.7 inch 720p screen, so that's 1280 by 720 resolution. But really the amazing thing, and you kind of have to see this in person to know what I'm talking about, but the Super LCD2 display that we have here is just spectacular. It's crisp, vivid, the colors just jump out at you. When you look at it from extreme viewing angles, not that you typically use your phone at this angle, but still you can see that the viewing angles are just incredible and the display just kind of almost floats on top of the device. It's just absolutely spectacular. Elsewhere, in terms of specs, we have a NVIDIA Tegra 3 quad-core processor in here running at 1.5 gigahertz. And that is, by the way, the Super 4+1 processor, so it has that additional fifth core for background processes, low power processes if you're listening to an MP3 while the device is off, and you can conserve battery life and that type of thing. We have 1 gig of RAM, 32 gigs of eMMC user storage, and some of the best cameras that we've ever put on a device. So let me talk to that for a moment as I flip it around to the back. One of the core principles of an HTC One device, what makes it one of our flagships, and this is the same across all of our devices, is this camera. The fact that we've invested very, very heavily in the optics, in the sensor, and in the software. Altogether, we call it HTC ImageSense. We have an 8 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture and a 28 millimeter wide angle lens. You'll see that we have a single LED flash here as opposed to the dual LED that you might be used to on our devices. That's because the flash now has 5 stages depending on the level of light in your environment. We don't even need to have dual flash anymore. But most importantly, I think, is a new piece of silicon that we created. It's unique to HTC. We built it, and it's kind of the primary aspect of the ImageSense environment, and it's called the HTC Image Chip. So as we go into the camera UI, you can see the software enhancements that we've made as part of ImageSense. So I was talking about the image chip, and you can think of it sort of like a co-processor specifically just for the camera, and it allows us to go from essentially the lock screen into the camera and snapping a photo within 0.7 seconds. So you can see here, obviously we're not looking at much other than a wall, but as I'm snapping photos, it's taking incredibly fast pictures. And actually is autofocusing within 0.2 seconds. So the idea here is you can take 5 images per second if you were just to keep on snapping. Like, if I turn up the audio here, you can even hear as I'm taking those shots. Hopefully you can hear that on my microphone. Now I'm just pressing and holding and see how quickly it takes those shots. It's absolutely nuts. I'm completely filling the memory at this point. But nonetheless, the camera takes amazing photos. It's all being processed from raw image format in the image chip. Because it's not being processed on JPEGs, that means all of the artifacts and compression and that kind of thing that you would get in a typical JPEG image aren't evident. It's a much higher quality photo than really anything else that we've put on an HTC camera in the past. So we're very excited about that. The other thing that you'll notice about this device, and this is something that is across all the HTC One series phones, is that it is, of course, a Beats device. Very proud of that fact. And we've also made some improvements on Beats here, so that way, as I go into the new Music Hub, for example, we've pulled together all of your music applications into one place. So regardless if you listen to Amazon MP3s or the 7 Digital Store, maybe you want to install Google Music or Spotify or something like that, it all appears within the Music Hub automatically. You don't have to set anything special or have the third-party application do anything different. It appears here automatically, and it all supports Beats out of the box. We've actually moved that Beats software deeper into the Android audio stack, so that way it doesn't have to support it in any particular way. Every application automatically runs through Beats. One other thing to mention here that's really important is, of course, you're seeing the latest and greatest Sense 4 running on Ice Cream Sandwich. We wanted to make sure that everybody's running the latest HTC experience, where we've really tried to evolve Sense so that way we reduce a lot of the extraneous elements that a lot of customers have said they didn't necessarily need. For example, we took away the big phone dialer button at the bottom, we took away the personalized button, we now just have your most frequently used apps at the bottom of the screen. We've also continued to make enhancements, so for example, as I go into multitasking, you can see your recent apps are displayed in a way that's actually really cool with a bigger screenshot, sort of tilted in a 3D way. You can swipe it away just like any other ICS multitasking, but we think that we've made a great experience here that's unique from just plain vanilla ICS. One other thing worth mentioning, that in addition to the awesome software here, we've also partnered with Dropbox.com to allow 25 gigabytes of space in the cloud. So in addition to the 32 gigs on this global version of the One X, you have that 25 gigs in the cloud for 2 years, essentially the duration of your contract, and you can just store photos and other files immediately in the cloud instantaneously without having to set anything else. So very excited about this coming worldwide. It's going to be available on over 130 operators and partners worldwide within 60 days, so by April. It is definitely coming to the US. AT&T is going to be carrying it. It will be called the HTC One X in AT&T, so carrying through that HTC One brand, which we think is really important with our new brand strategy. It's going to have some slightly different specs on the inside because of the fact that it has LTE for AT&T's network. So that means the processor is going to be a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 running at 1.5 gigahertz, and it's a dual core. If any of you have seen some of the initial benchmarks of the S4 processor, it absolutely blazes. Don't think that you're getting short shrift in the US by not getting quad core. The S4 is an amazing processor, no doubt about it. The AT&T version also has 16 gigs of eMMC space, but otherwise is the exact same phone, exact same camera, exact same Beats audio, so still amazing photo experience and authentic sound all built into a beautiful device. So that's the HTC One X, coming soon within the next 60 days worldwide. Check it out.